So welcome back to another makeup tutorial. Today I am focusing on Catherine's eyes. We're going to really play with lots of colour, and I'm going to show you how to do an extension, which is a really nice trick on how to elongate and bring the eyes a little bit further back, leaving them quite big and bold. To bring you up to speed to what I've done already on Catherine's face, I've used Makeup Studio's Shimmer Effect as a primer to create lots of luminosity on the skin. I've then used Caribbean, which is the shade in the cream foundation from Makeup Studio. I've used that all over the face as our foundation. Then to sculpt, I've used the Makeup Studio contour palette, sculpting under the cheekbones, the forehead and the jawline. I've set it with Silk Perfection, then contoured with M3 bronzer from Makeup Studio. A little bit of number 7 blush on the apples. I've no highlighter on just yet, because you'll see in a second why I didn't put any highlighter on. The brows, I've created quite a strong brow. The baseline of the brow I've done quite dark because I want them quite bold and defined. I've combed through the beginning of the brow just to create a slight softer beginning, a softer sort of ombre brow. Number 2 concealer underneath the bottom of the brow, and we're ready to start doing the eye makeup. So the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to play with a couple of different palettes today. These are from Makeup Atelier. Makeup Atelier do wonderful palettes. So the ones I'm going to work with are T05, as you can see is a huge favourite of mine. I'm also going to work with a little bit of T17, which is this palette. I'm going to work with a few of the shades from this one. And they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful new palette, which is T28, which is their new purple plum palette. So to begin, I'm going to start with the T05. I'm going to use a flat brush and some of the pale. This is a matte, I suppose, buttermilk colour. And I just want to set that concealer underneath the brows and work that into place. So pressing that into place. Make sure that you don't put any of the pigment over the eyebrow and dull the strength of your baseline of your eyebrow. I'm also going to take a little bit of this first colour from the T05 palette and look straight for me. In the inner corner, I'm going to just build that. This will act as a platform. I'm going to put another shimmer on top of that, but because I put a paler eyeshadow in the inner corner, you're really going to see that stand out. So really build that up in that inner corner. I'm going to use the second colour in from the T17 palette from Makeup Atelier. And look at the ground for me. Brilliant, Catherine. And bring this colour all across the lid. Next, I want to really start to build. So there's quite a contrast between the colour we use under the brow and the colour we just put across the lid. So what I want to do is try to soften a line between that. So I'm going to use the middle colour with my blending brush this time. With the blending brush, looking straight ahead for me, Catherine, I'm just going to put a little bit of tension and bring that through the top section of the crease. Blending right across. So let's add a little bit of the copper tone. It will sit just under the previous colour I just put on. So looking straight for me, Catherine, that's brilliant. Bringing that through. And as I blend across, again, I keep it quite high underneath, almost as if I'm kind of blending it into the beginning of the eyebrow, but I don't. I soften it out, so there's very little pigment on the actual brush by the time it reaches underneath the brow. Okay, so next we're going to swap the T05 for our new palette, which is the T28 from Makeup Atelier. This is our purple. So we're going to mix these cool tones with the warm tones, and a lot of makeup artists were always taught, are you a summer, are you a winter, are you warm toned, are you cool toned? Do you know what? Sometimes it's about just mixing colours that work really well together, not putting yourself in any sort of category. It's about combination, it's about using the right combination of tones that work really well together and having fun, I suppose sometimes breaking what people originally thought were the rules. So the first thing I'm going to take is this really nice, beautiful, strong cranberry colour. Watch the intensity, it is so strong, the pigment. So I'm working away so I don't get any fallout. Work it out of your brush. Again, looking straight ahead, I'm going to just take and across the lower section of the lid, blend that into nice copper. Now to make sure all of that's really well blended, I'm taking a really big fluffy brush this time. There's no pigment, no eyeshadow or anything on it. Watch your inner corners, make sure that's nicely blended. Just work that over and work that across. Brilliant. And then I'm going to start and use a little bit of this really dark plum grey from the outside corner. Working that on the lower lid. So again, this is really nice, but I want to do an extension. So what is an extension? Well, an extension is where you're creating elongation to the eye, where you're making the eye look, I suppose, more triangular at the corners. So to do that, I am going to use a little trick. These are just little stickers that I'm going to place underneath the eye. Make sure when you're placing this on, it goes underneath the lashes. Don't put it on top of, it's really painful. Not that I've tried, I've heard. So put it underneath. It has to follow the line of the waterline. So if you go too high, the outside line is going to go straight up. It has to look like it's been pulled back, like the eye is looking more like that shape. So bring this up underneath, and this is why I didn't put on any shimmer highlighter earlier, because I didn't want it to take it off. It will take a little bit of the foundation off, and to be honest, I don't really mind because it leaves it a little bit lighter close to where the tape was sat down, which makes it even more highlighted where you're going to put it. Now, next bit is easy. This is our guide. So I want to use some of the purple. So I'm going to start on the tape, and that's where I'm going to bring it into. And I'm going very gently to bring that out at a corner. Then I'm going to take some of beautiful copper tone and work it just a little bit further back. Then with my bigger brush, soften through your edges. So make sure that those blend really beautifully out on the dark. Keeping it very close to where the top and the bottom meet on the outside corner. And that should leave a really nice line. Where the eye extends back. With your foundation brush, I'm just going to blend around where the tape was, just to make sure there's no lines, no marks or anything. I still want to take and sculpt the eye a little bit more, so I'm taking the dark colour and just at the outer corner, building that up ever so slightly. Just give it a little bit more definition on the outer corners. Next thing I want to do is smoke out underneath the bottom of the eyes. For this, I'm going to use some Makeup Atelier waterproof gel, and I'm going to bring that through the waterline the entire way across the bottom. So now we've put that on, it looks quite heavy, it has to soften, it has to look more blended. So looking straight up from me, Catherine, the ceiling, and we're going to bring this through backwards and forwards and blend that, trying to soften the edges. Okay, there was nothing on my brush, but there is going to be something on it now. I want to take and just set that ever so slightly. So using the darker colour in the T28, the plum palette, I'm going to take and just use a little bit of that just to make sure that gel is well set into place, and to use a little bit of that to blend through the bottom. Next, I want to bring some of the colour that we have above the eye under the eye. So for that, I'm going to use some of this vibrant middle colour in the 228 palette, and through the edge of the black, I want to try and bring that. Now I'm using a very soft brush to do that, and blending that through underneath. So then to soften through the edge of that, we're going to use the second colour in. So again, that's going to soften the edge of the purple and allow it to fade back into the skin really easily. So see how much more softer it looks on this side than this side. Look up for me, Catherine. This one still looks a bit sort of ropey, the shape that it's creating underneath the bottom of the eye. So with a little bit of the second colour in, you can soften that. So it kind of ties the colours we've been using above the eye, under the eye, and brings the whole look a lot more together. Now we're on to mascara. So mascara, I am going to use some lashes, so I don't want to put a lot of mascara on. I just want to put a little bit to take away the dust that maybe fell on the top of the lashes. I'm going back to one of my old favourites, Precious Pearl from Makeup Studio. Right in the inner corner, just here. Now watch as I'm going to make this intense. I really want this to stand out. So it's the smallest section, but I want it so bright. So see how I'm building it? It just gives that sort of different element to the makeup. It's so simple to do, but really effective. Look how that's standing out against the other side. See how it's bringing it to life? Next thing I want to do is a little bit of decoration. So using this product, which is called Two-Way Gel from Makeup Studio, I'm going to put a little bit of that in the back of my hand. This is used to create glittered liners to apply different types of glitter. I want to put a glitter on top of this. Now I'm going to use a really, really refined glitter, which is PP41 from Makeup Atelier. So this PP41 is this really orangey colour. Most people would run for the hills if they've seen this in the makeup shop. But when it's put on in a small quantity, I don't want the glitter to take over the whole makeup. So for me, sometimes you can do really solid blocks of glitter across the eyes. It can look quite disco looking, looks quite 70s. This is just to give it that extra sort of little bit of fun, a little bit of drama. Now, to put this on, I'm using a fluffy brush to do it. The reason I'm using a fluffy brush is it will lift, when I touch the glitter, it'll lift less of the product. So I'm going to take some of the Two-Way Gel with the brush, and I'm only putting it on the bottom section of the lid. Okay, do the same to the other side. Not too much, you don't want to put too much of the Two-Way Gel on. Now make sure you don't lift too much, so I'm kind of drying off a little bit of the Two-Way Gel from the brush so it doesn't lift too much. And I want very, very little glitter. Okay, tap it off so you don't have too much. And very lightly bring this across. You still want to be able to see through this glitter. It's a dust glitter, so you still want to be able to see through it and see the blending. Look straight from me. Bring your head up, look down. See the difference on one side compared to the other? So it's making the different tones that we put onto the eye come to life. Pretty, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put some liner on next before I put on my lashes. So look down for me. My liner, all I want to do is quite a thin line from the inner corner to the outside. I will do a flick, but I'll do the flick after I put on my lashes. So I'm just putting the glue onto the back of the lash. Remember, not too much. As I've said before, don't panic when you're putting your lashes on. That's the main thing. So open your eye for me, Catherine, look at the ground. I like to put lashes on with the eyes open because I find if I'm putting lashes on someone, sometimes when the eye is closed, it's almost putting too much tension on it. Again, when you're putting your own on, obviously you need to keep your eye open, both of them, so try to tilt your head right back in the mirror so you're able to see when you're doing your own lashes. So next I'm going to take some liner and I'm going to go over my glue line and we're going to do a little flick. So with my liquid liner, I'm going to do my inner corner. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the eye to lift it out. Open your eyes and look at the ground. Okay, so that's the eyeliner done and brought into place. Now I can take and put on some of the highlight onto the face. So I'm using, again, my classy champagne from Makeup Studio just to really lift underneath and bring this around nice and highlighted. Okay, I want to create a really soft ombre type of lip. So what I'm going to line with is OCC Black Dahlia lip pencil. So all I'm going to do is just do my outer line and blend in from the corners. So I've lined the whole lip and now I'm just starting to fade in the colour. I'm starting to fade in from the top as well, leaving the slightly paler centre in the middle of your lip Just blend your line. Make sure you're happy with your lip line before you move on. So let's take some roller, girl. Okay, this is definitely not your au natural type of lip colour, but this beautiful purple is really popular at the minute. And then go back in with your pencil and just redefine where exactly you want the darker sections to be. To really make the lip line nice and sharp, I'm taking quite a thin, long brush, and with the foundation colour, I'm just going to go around and make sure it's really nice and sharp. Kind of almost like we do underneath the brows. Doing nice and gently on the top. You have to be careful with this. It doesn't need to look like you've just drank a glass of milk. So you make sure that you really do blend the entire way around the lip line whenever you're tidying the lips up like this. And finally, a little bit of fix spray, just to hold the makeup nicely in place. And there you have it. Smoky eyes with colour, with an extension and a very soft, wearable ombre lip as well, for those of you who are not afraid to make a statement with your makeup. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel underneath, and if you have any questions about anything that you've seen in any of your tutorials, please do drop us a message underneath. Thank you.